The last week, Hollywood Reporter put out a piece called Hollywood Meet Your New A-List. And essentially, they just put together a list of all of these influencers, TikTokers, YouTubers, podcasters, fashion influencers, all of these people who you have never heard of, likely. And they said, Hollywood, you need to get used to it. Legacy media needs to start taking advantage of collaborations with new media and stop having a stick up your ass about it. So here's what they said. From staggeringly talented TikTokers to the Instagram stars we can't look away from, these are the names who will and should be dominating the business of new and old media. And the first response I saw to this was, it's crazy that A-listers used to be household names and now it's just a bunch of random people no one will remember in 2 years.
All that has to do with is the decentralization of media, meaning that back in the day you had 4 news networks and a couple of channels and they told you who to watch. Now that's gone.
It was their decision.
It was their decision.
Who was relevant. Yeah.
Now, and it's not to, you should not discount any of these people. Every single person on this list, even if you haven't heard of them, commands a following of millions of people.
Yeah, tens of millions for
tens
some
of
of these
millions
people, yeah.
of people. In a lot of ways, these people are the future of entertainment. It's just that what happens when you talk about these celebrities is the same thing that happened when the Kardashians became the household names that they are, which is most people say, well, how do you get famous with no talent? But that can be distilled down even further. People say the same thing about actors. They say, why would this person get famous? All they do is pretend to be other people, which is a gross underselling of what their job actually is. But since people don't exactly have the best, will towards actors and actresses these days.
Nor should they.
It's a lot easier for people to discount the work.
Yeah, and I also want to push back on the idea that no one's going to remember them in 2 years. Certainly that could be true for some of the people on this list. But for others on this list, I heard of them more than 2 years ago. And they've only become more and more successful and more famous since I first became familiar with them. Yeah. So clearly they stood the test of time. If they started their media career back then, maybe even like during the COVID era on TikTok, and now they're going to red carpet events and they're mingling with the mainstream celebrities.
Well, this is like when I was talking about when they send the dance TikTokers to movie premieres to do like phone filmed dances on the red carpet for some Mission Impossible movie.
It's cringy, but
it's cross branding. It works.
The Hollywood Reporter's inaugural Content Creators Power List. They say it's our duty as legacy media to honor and succumb to the power of new media.
Okay, I don't know about that last part there, but okay.
And in the case of the 50-ish influencers featured here, new fame. This list is an encapsulation of the ways that comedians, writers, producers, makeup artists, interviewers, and fashion moguls, chosen using factors as numbers of followers, talent, and relevance to Hollywood, business growth, brand deals, have been captivating our attention and the promise they hold in the industry. To us, the power of a creator isn't just reflected in follower count, but in talent, magnetism, diversity, in thought, and controversy. Dear Hollywood, these are the TikTokers, Instagrammers, and YouTubers worth knowing and courting, digital natives starting the trends the rest of us will eventually chase. So how many of these have you heard of before? You were talking about this on the Salty Nerd podcast, correct, and you said no one had heard of them. Like any of them.
Not a lot of them. Sorry, I'm fixing a crisis meter on this one here today. Hold on.
I think the only reason why you would be familiar with any of these names already is solely because of the fact that you have to work with me.
Correct.
And I know who these people are. And I make it my business to, but they have Alex Earle, who I
have heard of.
We have talked about her on the show before. She started out on TikTok only last year. Yeah. While she was a college student making these really obnoxious get ready with me TikToks where she talks about dating and shopping and story times and that type of jazz. And like, as low effort as that content looks, I do want to emphasize that some of the people on this list, maybe not all, yeah, there were situations where they ended up in the right place at the right time. Kismet, like something just catches fire randomly. but also these are very enterprising individuals.
They have to be.
For the most part. They're not just making videos. They create production companies, product lines. They write books. Like, they get book deals. They chase after brand deals. They create viral moments rather than just being talent. They think about the business side of things.
We talked recently about how the next generation, the skill they have the most is how to brand themselves more than any previous generation has ever done. Because now when you go online, you're no longer just you. You're the ability for you to grow beyond just your name and be a brand is something that's new to the last 20 years in a lot of ways with the invention of social media. So all of these people have to understand how to meet the right people in the right sphere, who are the right people for them to interface with and do brand deals with, who are the right people to avoid, and things like that.
That's not even to mention like the bobbing and weaving to avoid getting canceled over just the most random comment that you made a decade ago in Alex Earle's case.
I do feel like the problem with this is that they're trying to fit it into the box of Hollywood when realistically they shouldn't be seen as the same sphere at all. If anything, it should be seen as Hollywood adjacent, meaning that the celebrities who end up in movies and television can best utilize these types of performers by doing some type of collaboration with them. If anybody saw yesterday, John Cena showed up on Kai Cenat's stream and got phantom taxed. Okay? Perfect example. And Kai Cenat is on this list.
Wouldn't be the first time that Kai Cenat has had a mainstream celebrity on his stream as
well. They understand the importance of interfacing with this world where these people command massive followings of people that can then draw eyes to their products, which are a lot more narrow in focus.
But that's the crux of the issue here. Yes, there is a symbiotic relationship between new media and legacy media, or at least the potential for a symbiotic relationship there. But the legacy media household name type of celebrities are still very uncomfortable with that. And they feel that they're above the influencer proles and it actually cheapens their image. So that's the fundamental difference between those household name celebrities and the influencers. The influencers are actually okay with becoming a meme and making an absolute fool of themselves for the bit. And they're not afraid to appear like sellouts for brands to their own audiences. In fact, they lean into it. I noticed a very distinct change when I was watching YouTubers in the mid 2010s to the late 2010s, when brand deals were becoming a far more common thing after the adpocalypse on YouTube. And they had to be very open and transparent about the fact that their revenue was suffering. So they had to promote Raycon, or they had to promote whatever it may be.
Raid Shadow Legends. I'm so sorry.
Raid Shadow Legends, whatever it may be. And then they made a joke out of it. And it's funny because there used to be this very frowned upon thing of becoming a sellout, like in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And then suddenly everyone like celebrated it. And it's because of influencers like this.
Did we get this 20? I'm not sure if we, I'm really sorry if I missed it when you said this one, but
I didn't see this. Joshua Throckmorton?
It's an amazing name.
Is that real? First time watching PCC live. Woot.
Woo! Thank you.
Hi, thank you for being here, and I'm sorry that I missed your $20 super chat.
Have not heard woot in a while. Woot woot.
Woot woot.
Okay, so
I'm sorry, I was just going off there.
The problem is, and the funny thing is they are ignoring them at their own peril, right? The celebrity lifespan isn't that long if they just let themselves fall by the wayside, right? If they let their ego get the best of them. The best thing that they can do is to embrace it, work with these people. You know what? You might not like Mr. Beast, but maybe you should do a video with him to reach his gazillion followers.
Yeah. It's weird. Mr. Beast doesn't really do collabs with celebrities.
He does it with other YouTubers. Remember I was telling you about like the random soccer content I was just randomly scrolling through on YouTube Shorts. He showed up in this girl's like YouTube Shorts about soccer.
Yeah.
And she's from so he's just randomly in Europe or wherever they're making these videos, and he just appears and then disappears because he likely has some employee whose job it is to keep track of who has however many millions of followers and who would be the best for him to interface with.
Right.
Again, these people are better in a lot of ways, are more apt businessmen and women than the average celebrity who relies on their agent and all of these other people to tell them what to do. Now, a lot of these people have agents, they have talent agencies, but they still have to have a finger on the pulse of the culture to understand how to move their business forward. Their business being them and their image.
Right. I'm sure there's no shortage of interest for mainstream celebrities to collab with Mr. Beast in particular. But maybe it's one-sided. Maybe Mr. Beast, on the other hand, feels like he doesn't want to get into those types of...
But he's got like his thing. He's got his deal with Amazon now, and he's on Roku TV. And
some of these people, and I have to give them credit, like Amelia de Moldenberg, you probably haven't heard of her, but she runs the show Chicken Shop Date. And this is... in one of those interview shows, basically like Hot Ones, but run, basically from the UK. It's like Hot Ones from the UK. And she interviews A-list celebrities. Like, it's just one after the other. She has interviewed Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Billie Eilish, all sorts of people. And she started this out when she was 19, and now she's 30.
Exactly.
Like, she's like, you can say, oh, no one's going to remember you in 2 years. That's actually just not true.
Same thing is true for Hot Ones, which is on this list here.
Yes.
There have been endless viral video clips that have gone like wildfire on the internet of people having memorable clips from Hot Ones.
Yeah. Or Brittany Broski is another one they mentioned, a TikToker. She went viral because there were a couple screenshots of her gagging when she sipped kombucha for the first time.
What if it was boba? Then she would be racist.
Like, if you can take advantage of a moment like that and turn it into a 5-year so far career, that's impressive. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah, influencers are annoying, sure, but
they're getting the bag.
They're getting that bag, queen.
Look, and you can't simultaneously say that Hollywood is dying and nobody cares about movies and TV anymore and there are no movie stars, and then pretend like there isn't something filling the gap there. The issue of idolatry doesn't go away, and there's celebrity worship on all levels of society. But right now, the next generation isn't growing up watching these movies and television. We talked about, does anybody remember when Free Guy came out? There were streamers and influencers that ended up in that movie because they understood. Was it Markiplier that ended up in that movie?
Really?
I don't remember who it was. But the point is that they understand.
We have a 20. Sorry, from Alejandro Reyes. Hi, I forgot this last week. Mary, you said you don't watch YouTube Shorts. You just have to go into the pet section and you will be saved with nonstop cute animals. But I'm very particular about my cute animal videos. Like, it just needs to be a certain genre. I don't know how to explain it. I also have a ton of AI generated videos of cats on my Instagram explore page, like kneading bread. It's really weird.
It's
sorry. So get on to your point.
The point is that these mediums are changing faster than ever now as technology advances. It's really funny because we were just talking the other day about how YouTube is no longer doing shorts. They got 3-minute shorts now. It's not even short anymore. And a TikTok video can be like 30 minutes now. Like, these platforms are going to continue to grow. In a lot of ways, I would say that this is a more organic way of finding actual people that resonate with other people. You may not like them. You may not like the type of people they resonate with, but they're reaching an audience in a way that requires them to do it on their own rather than just getting dumped into the system at one of these major studios and they decide these are the guys we're going with right now. These are the next list of celebrities. I would guarantee you right now that whatever other trade makes an issue like this, whether it's Deadline, AV Club, Cinema Blend, and they make their list of what is going to be Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, we did talk about a
Paul
Hollywood
Mescal.
Reporter.
I don't care.
The Hollywood Reporter did a listicle of like the new Hollywood A-listers.
Exactly.
And it's just like, who?
The point is,
what were they in?
All of these people resonate with someone. What it actually points out to you is how big the world actually is. And just how, like, you don't need 10 million people to make a living online. Like, a lot of these people get a great size following and they are good for a very long time. They're going to be they're going to have brands that are going to want to work with them for a very, very long time. And they're not going to have anything to worry about. It's just that the internet now is one big advertisement. everywhere.
Yeah, it is
It's
really
all
exhausting
one big
at this
advertisement.
point.
So.
It is kind of exhausting that happened to the internet, but there's no going back on it now.
Well,
I did want to ask, I know we've done a poll on this before, but we asked you guys, like, who is the more annoying class, the influencers or the celebrities? Because you can still see a distinction between the two. And I
think
forget
that-
who won.
I don't remember.
I think it might have been the influencers.
See, I think depending on who you're asking, what will happen is when the celebrities say it. Did you see the thing recently? Who was the celebrity that complained? Jessica Chastain complained about not getting enough of a refund from JetBlue.
Oh, yeah,
To which
yeah.
I was like, Jessica Chastain flies JetBlue, but then I'm also like, but people are mad at her because she wants a refund.
She's like calling Ballerina Farm and
Yeah.
be like, put your husband on the phone right now.
But the point being that they're mad because they assume that they know that they have money, so that there's a certain level of envy there to begin
Yeah.
with. Most of these influencers aren't suffering for money either, but they don't come with the same. It's a different type of disdain for the influencer. So it's not even who's worse. It's just what's your reason for hating this particular type of influencer or celebrity.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.